Yo, it's your boy Kobus, the realest OG. I'm back with another video. So this is the breakdown of uh this current week, which we just coming from now. So we're going to look at what this week did. Okay. So when we're looking at the daily time frame, we see that we have a gap here. Okay. We have a daily gap here, which the market utilized as a form of support to support price to propel higher. I want you to observe how Monday was a consolidation. Okay, Monday it was a consolidation. Tuesday was a consolidation. Okay, and then what happened is that we opened Wednesday, we paired buy side, and then we went for sell side inside this gap. So here, this is where we wanted to frame ourselves, to frame buy side, provided that we get by program signals. So on a 4-hour time frame, okay, before I even go to 4-hour, I want us to look at the euro. Okay, so euro USD was weak last week, okay, compared to GBPUSD. Okay, what happened with the euro is that we went below. Monday was a consolidation, and so is Tuesday. No, this is Monday. Monday was an indecisive day. Okay, so this was a consolidation. Okay, and then we see that Tuesday displaces into that weekly gap, into that daily gap. Okay, and then after that we trade into the daily order block. So we traded into the open of the daily order block. These two red candles, these two candles, we traded into the open here. Okay, and then after that we rejected, but at the same time, when euro was trading below that gap, GBPUSD was failing to displace below that gap. So there was some sort of like divergence there relative to the gap. So we see that GBPUSD was very bullish. It was very bullish. We had a breakaway gap here. Okay, that gap we did not retest. Okay, so that was our breakaway gap. Okay, let's see the setups, the buy setups which formed this week. Okay, check. Monday and Tuesday we consolidate. Wednesday we go to that gap. we retest that gap which we are looking at, and then we close above this gap. So this becomes our inverse gap, which is in close proximity to what, to our daily gap. And then I mentioned something about this for our order block, which we retested. And then again, if you can check that there's also a 4-hour gap here. Okay, which we also respected. So we have a daily gap there, the 4-hour gap plus order block. And then after that we get closure above this gap. So that initially I was bearish there, and then I saw that once we closed above that gap, I switched to bullishness, and then I was looking at these two relative equal highs as my drawn liquidity. Okay, so what we see is that Wednesday, Thursday, when we opened, we continued with the move. Okay, we started by rallying up. Okay, so we used the inverse gaps as there's also a clear setup on which occurred on 15 minutes, but we can incorporate that gap. We can incorporate it with this 15-minute order block, which we respected, and then price took off. My stop loss on this one was actually too tight, and price took me out. Not necessarily too tight, but I entered here, and then my stop loss here. Market came and took me out, collected liquidity once more, and then took off, never came back. Okay, so I accept that loss. I'm learning from it. Okay, what is it that I'm learning now? When I was trading this, I didn't actually utilize the time cycles. I was just saying, okay, right now we are inside the New York range, New York session. So I was just using the overall idea that since it's New York, it's a high probability session. And when I saw this, for me this was it made sense for me to take a trade here. We entered this gap while we were sweeping this liquidity, and then we disrespected this bearish model. So for me this is a CSD, return to the CSD, CRT again here. I was like, now the market it's ready to move, but the market came and collected liquidity once more. Okay, and then we had a CSD here once more. Okay, same model, and then we also retested the first inverse FVG, although it was already retested, but we came to it once more. Again, this we also respected that gap, and there's the CSD open as well. Check how the candles are closing above this line here, which is the open of the consecutive candles which sweep the liquidity. Can call it an order block here, but my eyes are focused on the open of that candle. I think it's actually in confluence with the 50% of the gap and check how the body is never closed below the 50% of this gap. Okay, let's just do it like this. That's dope. Okay, so the market took off, never came back, until we cleared those highs here. So there was a buy setup which formed here. Okay, it was a beautiful trade. So last week we had 2 buy setups. Okay, I also see this setup here. You see we have a model occurring inside that daily gap. Okay, this is respected that gap there, which is a bearish gap, and then we broke structure, and then we used it as an US gap here. If you check, we broke structure here and then we used it as support once more during New York afternoon. This is something, not bad move. And then if you were actually framing from this high, didn't actually grant that during New York afternoon, but as the day closed, we went towards it and then we cleared it during Asian session. Okay, or London, some between the two. I think it's London. Yeah, in London. So let's check Euro, how it performed last week. I'm not sure if the forecast was inside the video, which is not audible, or it was before, but I was looking at this gap, okay, to hold price, which I think in terms of framing a setup relative to that gap, it did well. We disrespected it and then we came to it once more. Okay, I think right now we're going to utilize it as support for this week's price, but we had a buy. These highs are relatively poor, so there's liquidity resting below there, above those highs. So we went down, we tapped the open of the order block, which is denoted by this line, and then okay, I saw also, because initially I said I was bearish here, but I saw that the market was not respecting this gap here. It disrespected it. Under normal bearish circumstances, this above gap was supposed to be left as a what's this, breakaway gap, according to the way I read price. If we were truly bearish here, I would have wanted to see this as a breakaway gap. I would have wanted to see the market not filling this gap and using this one as resistance to propel price down. I was actually bearish here, and then I saw that the market was not respecting this gap here. We traded above it, and then usually if we were truly bearish here, I want to see a consolidation into a POI for a long time. Okay, for me that's a red flag. Usually for a bearish here, I want to see the market enter here and then move, because we're in New York. But if you see the market most of the time consolidating, it decreases the probability. High probability setups are fast, they're just most of the time. But we see that the market on Wednesday, we traded into the daily order block, and then we started to disrespect bullish arrays, bearish arrays, and use them as support to propel price up. So Thursday is the one which expanded. So I'm anticipating bullish price this week. I would love to see the market come and find support inside this discount. We have a daily gap here, which we initially was our initial point of interest, but right now I'm looking at that one also. I would like to see the market find support there. I'm also looking at these candles open. This is our order block. This is the last down close candle before we went up. I'm not counting this red one. I'm counting this big one. Okay, again I view it as a CSD. Okay, so it could also be a retest to the change in standing delivery. I think it's more, yeah, it's much clear here. Okay, we used it at support during Thursday price, and then we went up. Once we closed above it, we never closed below it. The open of that two consecutive red candles, we never closed below it. Okay, and then we see that price during New York took off. Okay, this is a very slow a busy price, but with time you will see it. You see we have a buy model here. It broke this high here, and then we are retesting those. Check how the bodies close relative to that blue line or to the gap. They retested the below gap while respecting the above gap. The wicks are the ones which were just doing the damage. This was during New York, and then check what happened. The market took off. It gave one more setup here, one more entry, which is very far. It's high in premium. I don't like adding more positions when the market has already significantly moved. But yeah, we had a bullish price. Check what the market did here. This is buy side engineering of liquidity. Engineering of buy side liquidity. So we are coming back for that. Remember I said this week we are looking at we want to see the market find support in discount. I would like to see the market go down and then attack this buy side. I would love to see this, and then I may be wrong. Don't forget that I may be completely wrong, but for now I want to see how price will react in that region, and then yeah, for now that's what I'm actually seeing, bullishness from there. And then I'm also seeing I see we broke structure on broke structure here, and then we have a high here. There is buy side liquidity above there. That's the highest. Is it the highest high? No, not necessarily the highest high. But we had a buy side liquidity there. We had a break of structure here. So I'm just gonna call it boss. So we would like to see the market also find support in this kind of that range. We'd like to see where the market will find support. Okay, what do I see? I see this order block, I see this gap here, this gap here. I also see an order block here, again in deep discount. So we shall see, but also check how the market is retracing. It's not moving fast into it's consolidating while falling. Like these candles are small. Check the sizes of the candle. We consolidated. So right now we are going for selling. We are going forward. We're manipulating lower. It's a retracement. I would like to see market find support here and then go up. So that sums up the review of last week and the forecast of next week. Network problems. More like any 1000. So yeah, and then just that we're having network problems, we could revisit that breakaway gap on daily. Okay, so we're just going to watch price and see how it does, but I'm bullish overall, because even if we come to that breakaway gap, I would also look for buy setups in there. Just that this market this network problem, but yeah, okay. We're also looking at this again. That's an imbalance. Usually the market eventually will come and rebalance it, but for now, yeah, let's see what happens this week. Let's see what happens in this week. Okay. I'm signing out. Person is singing the song. What do I wanna?